psychology behind narcissistic behavior, what it is, why it develops, and how it affects both the individual and the people around them. When most people hear the word narcissism, they think of vanity, arrogance, or someone who constantly seeks attention. But in psychology, narcissistic behavior is more complex than that. It's often tied to what's called narcissistic personality traits, or in more extreme cases, narcissistic personality disorder. At its core, narcissism is marked by an inflated sense of self-importance, a need for admiration, and difficulty empathizing with others. But beneath that exterior of confidence, there's often a very fragile self-esteem. Narcissistic behavior is, in many ways, a defense mechanism, a way to protect oneself from feelings of vulnerability, inadequacy, or rejection. So where does this come from? Research suggests a mix of factors: early childhood experiences, family dynamics, and even cultural influences. For instance, children who grow up receiving excessive praise for superficial qualities, like appearance or talent without balanced, unconditional support, may learn to equate their worth only with achievement or admiration. On the other hand, children who experience neglect or criticism sometimes overcompensate by building up a false self-image to shield against shame. This brings us to a key concept: the difference between the true self and the false self. The true self represents a person's authentic emotions and vulnerabilities. The false self is the mask that narcissistic behavior often creates: grandiose, self-assured, and untouchable. The more fragile the inner self feels, the stronger the mask tends to be. It's also important to note that not all narcissism is unhealthy. Psychologists sometimes talk about healthy narcissism, which involves self-confidence, ambition, and pride in one's achievements. This type of narcissism can actually help people succeed and maintain resilience. The unhealthy form, however, is rigid, defensive, and often harmful in relationships. Speaking of relationships, narcissistic behavior can cause significant strain. Because empathy is limited, interactions often become one-sided. About meeting the narcissistic individual's needs for validation or control. Over time, this dynamic can leave partners, friends, or co-workers feeling drained, unseen, or manipulated. But it's not all hopeless. Understanding the psychology behind these behaviors is the first step toward healthier patterns. With therapy, particularly approaches like psychodynamic therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy, individuals can begin to recognize their defenses, reconnect with their authentic self, and develop more empathy and balanced relationships. For those who live or work with someone who shows narcissistic traits, setting clear boundaries and maintaining a strong sense of self is crucial. It's not about fixing the other person. It's about protecting your own emotional health.